Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I got a special treat for you guys today. We're here in Langford, British Columbia, and I found one of the coolest old school cycle shops I've seen in a long time. In fact, I bought a bike from these guys. I've been looking for an older classic BMX freestyle bike, and I really prefer the GTs. I had two GTs when I was younger, and I had one in the late 80s, one of the super classic Pro Freestyle Tour models from GT, and in 2000 I bought a Pro Performer. I no longer have either of those bikes. The first one was one of the most sought after bikes. It was in Dayglow pink, first half of 1989, so it had the caution crash test dummy sticker set. It was a beautiful bike. It was everything I ever wanted, but it got stolen in around 1990. Around 2000 I bought a Pro Performer, and I loved that bike too, but I sold it and I regret it. So I was checking out this shop the other day, and I asked them if I could come film, and they said yes, because I want to show you guys this is an amazing shop. If you're into BMX, mountain biking, old school classic bikes, you are going to see some crazy stuff in this shop. Okay, they have cruisers, they have stuff that shouldn't even exist, but they have it. Okay, they got some stuff from the 60s. They got all kinds of wheels. You wouldn't believe what they have hiding in this shop. So we're gonna go in and check it out, and I'm gonna finish paying. I paid a deposit on the bike when I was here, and now I'm gonna come pay for it and take my GT home. Now the GT I bought today is a 98, or it could be a 99, I'm not sure, I didn't check the serial number yet. But it's a GT Vertigo, which is the exact identical frame to the Pro Performer that I had in 2000. It's identical. The hardware's different, it's got different handlebars, it's got a few different things. It doesn't have any pegs on it yet, but the frame is literally identical to the 2000 Pro Performer. It's in chrome. I'm not big on chrome, but fortunately the color I had in 2000 was dark, transparent, or sorry, burnt dark, translucent orange. And it was a wicked color. Now, I want to do the bike in that color, and I just found out that the powder coating is done over chrome to get that effect. So perfect, because this bike's chrome, so all I got to do is powder coat it the right translucent, dark, burnt orange color, and it's going to look killer. So let's go in and check out the bike and check out their shop. I gave them a call and made sure they were here and that they're okay with me filming, so let's go in and check it out. These guys have some crazy stuff that you've never seen before, and if you have, it might have been like 50 years ago, because they got some wild stuff in here, and I'm really glad I put a deposit on that GT, because somebody was gonna buy it. I know a lot of the new guys are into the new bikes now with the press bearings and stuff, but some of these old classic bikes are pretty special, and I think I'm going to be able to have a lot of fun on this when I take it down to the skate park and get back into Flatland. So let's go in and check out Rebuy Cycle Shop. That's R-E-B-U-Y, Rebuy Cycle Shop. They're here in Langford. They're on Jacklin Rd. I'll put the exact address and the email and their phone number and everything in the description box down below, so you can check them out. A lot of these, almost all these bikes are for sale except for the one I bought, and they've got a couple others that are on hold for people, but almost everything in this shop is for sale, and they have some crazy stuff. So let's go check it out. Okay, first up we have their field of bikes outside here. They have all sorts of stuff. Ancient stuff, vintage stuff, brand new stuff. They got cruisers, they got fold up, this one will fold up bikes, folds in half. They got tons and tons of mountain bikes, all ages, all sizes, all price ranges, brand new, used, vintage, all name brands, everything you could ever think of. Department store bikes to the very, very best. They have everything. Okay, like you would not believe what you're gonna find out here. If you're a mountain biker, they got some really amazing stuff. Now, they don't put their really crazy expensive bikes out here. They, believe it or not, they take in every single one of these bikes every single day. They have a shed over there, they put some in. They got some kids bikes and stuff in there. Maybe we'll just take a quick poke in there and see if there's anything really cool. Looks like mostly kids bikes in here. So we got, it's no lighting in here, that's all kids bikes. They got a whole giant shipping container full of awesome kids bikes. They have some toys too if you want those, but they mostly sell bikes. And they got a whole kids section over here. They got cruisers here. All these cruisers are really nice. Wait till you see some of the ones inside though. And then of course we got the 10 speeds, and we got the, you know, everything from Raleigh, Norco, Giant, they got everything, Mongoose, everything, Redline. This is my old bike right here. This is my bike. This was my bike. This is it's a Viking Trail Schwinn bike, and I bought it brand new. Bought this bike brand new, and I used it for about 4 hours, and then I realized mountain biking is not for me. I was bored out of my mind on the trails, and I was too scared to go over the jumps because I haven't done that stuff in a while, and the jumps were way too big, and I didn't want to get hurt out in the middle of the forest alone with a broken ankle. So I decided I'm not going to keep riding this bike because I'm going to get hurt out on the trails. It's a really awesome bike, but I traded this in on the GT, and that was my deposit, and now I'm going to go buy the GT. So let's go in and check it out. All right, check out the shop. This shop has got everything. They move all these bikes every single day. I can't believe they do that, but they got so much stuff. They just kept handling all. They got rims, every kind of rim you could ever dream up. They got brand new stuff, used stuff, vintage stuff. They got like walls of this stuff is all the way to the ceiling. Like if you look up, this shop is just everything all the way up to the rafters. They got frames, they got cranks, they got rooms full of cranks. Look at all this stuff they got. They got gear sets. They got wheels. You wouldn't believe how many wheels they got. Now I checked out some wheels. They have some really good Alex rims. Now Alex rims are kind of hitting, you know, some people love them, some people hate them because they're a single wall, but they are the like strongest single walls out there, and they do make some double walls. I believe those are the MX22s. They're probably off of Mongoose, but those are some awesome 20-inch rims with 14mm axles. And they got a bunch of stuff over here too. They got a couple more Alex rims, both 14mm axles. I'm actually thinking about maybe buying one of these for the GT, but I don't know, it might actually have 14mm axles, so I haven't checked yet. My Pro Performer did have 14 mils, but this is the Vertigo that I'm buying today, and it's the exact same frame but not the same hardware, so I'm not sure. But just look at all this stuff, man. They got brake calipers, walls and walls and walls of calipers, shift linkages, shift mechanisms, shift controllers, combination shifters with brake handles built into them. They literally have boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes. So I'm going to put the email and website so you can check these guys out, because this is a hidden gem. This shop is a hidden gem, and they just don't have shops like this anymore. Like, look at all this stuff, man. Everything's labeled, everything's the owner knows everything he's got too. So like if you ask him if he's got something, he probably knows what box it's hiding in. It's pretty crazy to see all this stuff. Like, I haven't seen a bike shop like this since I was a kid. Like, this reminds me of the old school BMX days when you'd go in one of the old shops and they were just building up the bikes. They got handlebars from all the old vintage bikes here, 10 speeds, stuff like that, mountain bikes, fenders. They got some bike racks. They got a few cool BMX bikes over here. I'm not sure what this is, but that is a wicked frame. Look at those handlebars. I've never seen anything like that before. That's pretty wild. Is it tagged? Oak Bay Bikes it was originally bought at. I'm not sure what frame that is, but that's pretty cool. It's got this really wide, check this out. It's got like this really wide flat bar with some like knurling on it. And then it's got a gyro. It's not hooked up to anything. These handlebars are wild though. They're like a wedge, but they're made out of square tube. This is crazy. It looks all factory too. It doesn't look homemade or anything. And then of course it's got the 14 mil axles, and it's got some axle pegs into the forks. That's actually a pretty cool little frame. Then we got this guy here. Not sure what this one is, but that's also a really cool BMX bike. Looks like it got some good miles on it too. And then they got some funky stuff up on the walls. We got a lot of art stuff. Pretty cool. And then they got this poster thing with all this stuff going back to the day. Some photos. You can tell some of these photos are really old, like 70s, 80s, 90s. It's crazy. We got a lot of these cool plaque things they've made too out of old bike parks. Super cool. And we got tons and tons and tons of seats. Now they've got some crazy bikes over here. He was showing me this one the other day. This one, where is it now? One of these has, there it is. This one has hydraulic brakes. This old 60s 10-speed. But you pull the handle and it does front brakes and rear brakes at the same time. So you have dual brakes off one handle. Now it's not working because it needs to be bled and all that. But here's how it works. It's got this cylinder up here. It's got hydraulic lines that run to this cylinder in the front that actually pushes pistons out sideways to flip the brake caliper setup. So this pushes out, which pushes the brake pad in toward the wheel. So it's pretty cool. I mean, if this had some new lines and got fluid and bled, I bet you it would work. So if you're looking for a crazy 10-speed, I mean, look, you got the back one there too, see? See, that's like a hydraulic cylinder that pushes the caliper out. I've never seen anything like that before. That's wild. Then he's got this old 70s bike. Look at this thing. This is amazing. It's got this 5-speed shifter, like a gear shifter, built onto the side of it. And then it's got this speedo. It's got a speedo and kilometers, like an analog speedo built into this unit that sits on the front of the bike. And that's stock. That's not added on. That came like that. So it's got a speedo, and then it's got a distance thing, tells you how far you've gone. And this is all analog, so it like flips like your old odometer in your old car. Isn't that cool? That is like the craziest thing I've ever seen. Let's see if we can get the decal. So, I don't know if you've ever seen anything like that on a bike before. But that's how it sits on the front fender, tilted slightly upwards. Like it's got a little basket set up here on the front. Pretty wild. Then we got this thing. This is some sort of Schwing cruiser, he said. Now you can put a suitcase motorcycle or a suitcase motor in this thing, and it's still street legal without a license, as long as it's under 50 cc's. But this thing is wild, man. Like, check this out. Okay, so it's got cranks all the way up here at the front. No pedals on it. But then the first chain goes back to a sprocket setup, and then the second sprocket feeds the wheel. And then it's got a shifter back here. It's got a pretty cool paint job. It's got this really low cut seat. And it's basically like a motorcycle. It's got this crazy wheel on the front. Look at that wheel. Looks like a motorcycle wheel. I don't know if you've ever seen anything like that. It's got tassels on the handlebars and everything. Look at this thing. It's wild. All these bikes are for sale. So if you're interested, the email and website link will be down below in the description. Everything in here is for sale as far as I know, except my bike. And then we got this funky unit. Now apparently the person uses this to teach kids how to ride. I don't know why you would use this, but it's like a homemade chopper, and it's got all this stuff. Look at all this stuff attached to the handlebars. It's got alligators, dinosaurs, hippos, reflectors. mirrors. It's got like 6 mirrors on it. It's got a bunch of these Aruga horns. It's got those glow sticks for the light up valve stems, so when you're spinning the wheel, it lights up.
Everything that comes through that door gets recycled.
I was telling the owner this bike reminds me of a crazy cat lady's front yard. This literally looks like all this stuff. Believe it or not, guys, all this stuff you're seeing is attached to this bike. All of it. And it's got all the little. It's got all the bells. It's got horns. I don't know. Some of them work. That one works. Yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad that. And then again, another rack above me with vintage wheels. 10-speed mountain bike. It's got all the BMX ones over there in that rack.
That's all bones, man. We got this.
But he's got lots of stuff. And if you need tires, he's got a lot of old vintage tires. A lot of forks. Like, they got so many tires, you would not believe what they have. I actually got the original tires for that bike that I bought. He had them still, original 98 GT airbag tires. They're worn out, but I'm just gonna keep them for, you know, so I have the original tires. Then over here, we have the wall of forks and other pieces. These is all mostly mountain bike stuff. Like he's got everything, man. You would not, like, I could just keep tilting this camera upward and it's like it just keeps going up and up. There's just frames galore. He's got some really good frames. He's got a couple more BMX frames up on the mezzanine. They got up top there. That's employees only up there, but they got another whole room up there full of parts. He's got stems and also, like, look how many forks they have. This is like an army of forks. Every fork you could ever think of, they probably have it. They got stuff going all the way back to the 60s. Like, this is just unbelievable. This shop just blows my mind. I haven't seen something like this in a long time. Now, this is one of the owner's bikes, and it's a carbon fiber bike. And I picked this thing up the other day, and it weighs like 3 pounds, the entire bike. It's crazy. He's got so much money into it, he said he would not sell this bike for less than $9,000. In other words, it's not for sale. But he's got another mezz up there, a mezzanine full of stuff, more tires. Hey, how's it going, man?
Too bad, how are you?
And you're?
George.
George, I talked to you on the phone. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool, man. So this is George, he's one of the owners here. And I just thought I'd show you guys this guy's shop because I haven't seen anything like this since I was a kid.
Yeah, we're quite the spectacle.
Yeah, and they got quite a workshop back here too. They work on smaller bikes over here. They got a lot of, you know, tune-ups and stuff going on. They got a full shop back here. They're doing full tune-ups, restorations, building custom bikes, whatever you want. They're gonna do it for you. And then of course they got racks and racks of parts that are new. Yeah, new and used stuff all over this place. I've never seen anything like this. Check out this cruiser bike. Look at this spring-loaded contraption on the front. That is a suspension system. So this whole wheel moves forward a couple inches, and that pivots up here, and it compresses this spring. And it's a really heavy spring, so you really gotta bounce on it to get it to move. But it's a pretty cool bike, and it's got the old banana seat with the back on it. See how tall the back is on this thing? You don't see seats like that anymore. It's in mint shape too. This whole bike's in really good condition. So you've got a few minor scratches. I think this is probably 60s. And he's got some mountain bikes here. More rims. Lots more rims. And I've never seen so many rims in one shop. I mean, they got stuff that's really old too, so if you got a vintage bike, they might be able to help you out. They got hoops that are not spoked. They got brand new. used. They got all these brand new tires. They got used tires. They got tubes. They got patch kits. So this is their shop. This is the repair shop here. This is where they're gonna fix your bike, build your bike, custom build your bike, or restore your bike. And they got everything hiding back here. This is the main counter right here. He's got some more frames hanging way up there. Those are some pretty cool frames. Those are all mountain bikes though. And he's got some vintage kids bikes up here. Like these are seriously old, like banana seats. Check this out.
201s. They were made here on the island down in Sydney. Back in 90 something.
70
But
sparkle material.
Thing is fast. I've been looking for tires for.
All right. Now the big reveal. Let's go show you my GT I bought. It's a 98, could be a 99, I'll check the serial number, but it's a GT Vertigo, which is literally the identical frame to the Pro Performer of those years. No difference. Everything else is different. The handlebars, brakes, actually the rear brake's the same, a few other little things, but the frame itself is literally the exact same frame I had in 2000, which was a GT Pro Performer, but it was the translucent burnt orange and it was really nice. So let's go check it out. It's over here. So this is the bike I got off them. And he threw the tires over the handlebars for me. This is the original GT airbag tires from 1998. So this one's in okay shape. This one's worn out. This one's got, it's kind of bald in the middle and it's got a few flat spots. So somebody's been doing skids on this tire. But these are the original GT airbags, and right there, there's the original logo, GT airbags. So that's the original tires for it. Let's take those off for now. Okay, so this is the bike I got off them. Just pull it out here so we can show it to you. All right. So I'll just lay it down on the ground so we can take a look at it. And then we'll zoom in a little bit. So it is a GT Vertigo. It is an official GT. There's the stamp. And there's the stamp in the dropouts. And it's got 48s on it, laced at the back, straight spoke at the front. Now the only thing I would upgrade on this bike maybe is go to the thicker axles, but I'm gonna go ahead and bend these ones first. Same with the cranks, one-piece crank, but I've always had one piece on my GT and I've never bent them. But of course I'm older and heavier now, so maybe I will bend them. We'll find out. But the GT single-piece cranks have always been the toughest that I've ever encountered. So I probably won't need to do anything with them, but if so, I'll put the GT three-piece cranks on it. But this frame setup with this arced top bar, the way it arcs up like this, and this exact setup where the drop down goes early here, not behind the seat, but it goes in front of the seat downward. And it's got this piece welded in here. This is literally the identical frame to the Pro Performer. There is zero difference. Chromoly, exact same frame. They just put Vertigo stickers on these ones, and it was sold as a slalom downhill bike, so it doesn't have the Pac-Man forks, and it has some nice handlebars, but they're not the knee savers. They're just like a regular BMX racing style handlebars. They're nice, but they're gonna probably get replaced with some of the triangle looking ones. These are really nice though. They do have the real GT handlebars with the extra gussets on the side and probably stamped GT. Yep, right there, right in the front, just as I suspected. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. Right, I'll try to get the angle just right. Right there, GT, right there. So those are the original handlebars. and it's got some better tires on it now. I think they put them on when they got this bike in on a trade. So they're not GT tires, but they're decent tires, and I'll probably keep these tires on it until I can find some GT airbags that are in better shape than the ones I have. But he gave me the original tires with it because they're worn out, kind of useless. We're not going to be able to sell them, so he just gave them to me. Now, all of these stickers are original. So this one's worn out. The Vertigo stickers are in good shape. All the GT stickers are in good shape. This might be where it was bought. I'll have to look at that a little closer. The other thing this one doesn't have that my Pro Performer had was a badge here. This is just a sticker. Mine actually had a badge there, so maybe I'll find one of those, because I'm going to do this chrome frame in the translucent orange. I don't think that's an original seat. I'm sure it's not, in fact. It's definitely not a GT seat. Somebody else put this on here, maybe because they wanted this is a slightly padded one. Maybe they wanted that bit of padding, I don't know. But this is more like a modern BMX bike seat. So I'll have to get rid of that and put a vintage one on it. It is the original GT seat post even. So the seat post is original. I believe even the pedals are the original. Let me see if I can get the light just right. The pedals are original GT. So we got the GT pedals. We got the 990 brakes in the rear. We got a different brake on the front than I'm used to. I don't know which one that is. It could be an Odyssey of some sort. It does have the Odyssey gyro. Official, real, classic Odyssey gyro. And it's in good working shape. It's got the original headstock and headset. Everything's in really good shape on it, except the stickers. The stickers are worn. That's about it. The rest of the bike is in excellent condition, and I'm really super happy I got this bike, because I wanted to get, obviously I wanted to get an 89 or 88 Pro Performer, or a Pro Freestyle I meant, but they're so hard to find and they're so expensive. I was like, well, maybe I can find another 2000 model GT Pro Performer, and I haven't been able to find one either, especially in the burnt orange. I found one frame burnt orange on eBay, but it was a little bit beat up and he was asking a little much for it. So I managed to get this bike at a really good deal. I'm really happy with it. And this is the identical frame. So really, if I were to paint this or powder coat this burnt translucent orange, put the different bars, different forks, and the 14mm axles, it would definitely be considered the identical bike as the 98 to 2001 GT Pro Performer. So same frame. So even though I didn't find a Pro Performer, I did find this Vertigo, and it is so identical that I will be able to swap out a few parts and make this into a GT Pro Performer, or at least my own version of it. It won't be official. But if we check the serial number, we might be able to figure out what year it is. I think it's a 98 or 99. Just check the serial number on the dropout. Or it might actually be on the underside of this one. Yeah, so I don't know about these serial numbers. I'll have to look this up. I don't know what this means. S9GY. It's they only made this frame from 98 to 2001, so it has to be a 98 or 99. And I'm guessing that because my 2000 model had a triangle shaped dropout here. This is upside down, obviously, because the bike's upside down. But on the 2000 model, this dropout is slightly different shaped. It goes like down like this, like a triangle, a little bigger down here to accommodate for pegs a little bit better. Like this is still just as good, it just doesn't have the extra bit of metal down here, triangle shaped. So that makes it probably a 98 or 99. And the bearings are all in good shape, so I'm really happy with it. It's going to be perfect once I get it all dialed in. And of course, I'm going to swap out those parts and make it closer to a performer. Because it's pretty much, you know, it's already there. The frame is this Pro Performer. All they did was take the Pro Performer frame and put different handlebars, different forks, and different wheels. And then they just put a different sticker on it and called it a Vertigo. But this bike has always been a very close clone, or not even a clone, it's more like a sister to the Performer and Pro Performer. So that's the bike. We'll go talk to the owner there. His name's Rob, and I'll just square up with him on this bike, and then we're gonna try to find some pegs and stuff for it. We're gonna go riding. So this is the main counter. Oh, they got some stuff over here. Another glass case full of expensive vintage parts. Again, everything is for sale. A lot of these videos you see with people's shops and their own little showrooms, they have lots of cool stuff, but none of it's for sale, and they get mad at people for asking. This guy is the opposite. This guy wants to sell everything unless it's already been, you know, got a deposit on it or something. He'll sell it to you. So I don't think there's anything in here that he won't sell you. So that's a bonus, because a lot of these shops don't want to sell you anything, and they show you all this cool stuff and then they go, oh, but you can't have any of it. Well, you can have everything you see here, and you can get it. I'll give you the website link and the email and stuff, and then you can maybe buy it off Rob here. Rob's the owner. Hey Rob, how you doing?
Good, buddy.
I talked to George and he said it was cool if I filmed your shop, so
Certainly can.
I'm showing it off a bit to my YouTube friends, and I'm gonna put your link for your email and stuff. If you can give me that after,
Yep.
then I can let people know where they can get this stuff. Now I just want to clarify, is everything in this shop for sale that's not already sold to somebody else?
Absolutely.
There, you heard it straight from the man. Everything's for
Everything is
sale.
for sale.
See, a lot of these shops and showrooms, they have a lot of cool stuff and they just won't sell you a thing. They're like, nope, not for sale, not for sale. This guy will sell you everything. So here's his card. And I'm gonna put his link to the website and stuff under this video. But that's his business card. Keep that one?
Yep, certainly can.
Awesome. That way I'll put it on the website and stuff. He's also got a classic Speed air compressor, and I let him know how valuable that thing is, because I have one of those and they're super rare. But everything in this shop is for sale, and he's got stuff dating back to the 60s, brand new stuff.
Oh no, all the way back to the 40s.
Oh, back to the 40s.
Back to the 40s.
Back to the 40s. I was showing
We
them.
have a Fred Dealey, which actually is original Indian.
What?
Yes,
Where's that?
hanging up on the ceiling.
You don't have to take it down, but point it out to me.
We actually got two of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I did a little homework on some of those
There's
rims.
one
I
right
looked.
there,
Oh wow. Let me
and
just
then a black one right here.
let's extend this so I can get up close to it there. Look at this stuff, man. This stuff is old.
That's got a license plate on it from 1942.
1942.
And this one up here's got a license plate from 1946.
Is that this one right here?
Yeah.
Look at the crank setup on these things. This was what you had in the 40s, guys. Look at this. Look at this U-shaped.
That's where your motor went.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see this on the camera, but see that U-shaped bar? That's the top bar. That's the crossbar. That's crazy. That's wild.
That's where Indian started.
Right, and so they had like a little one-cylinder motor in there?
Yeah.
Wild. Now everything's electric. And he's got some pegs and stuff over here too. I might have to go through all this stuff and see if I can find something that fits my bike. But yeah, so this is pretty amazing stuff that he's got here. I haven't seen a shop like this since I was a kid. And to see this like this and have everything's for sale, that's just amazing, because I've seen so many videos on YouTube and they find a little treasure trove like this, but the guy that owns it says, no, not selling that, not selling that, not selling that. Pretty much nothing for sale. But This guy's selling everything he has, and they have stuff all labeled like boxes and boxes and boxes
It's
of
just
stuff.
non-stop coming in, so we have to sell
Yeah,
it.
non-stop coming in. You heard it straight from the man. All right, so I did a little homework for you too on some of those rims I looked at. Those MX22s you got, they are Alex rims, and Alex at the time was making them for GT, Mongoose, and Redline.
Oh, nice.
So it could have been on any one of those three,
Totally.
but the MX22s were most likely on a Mongoose. Now, they are a single wall, so they're not a double wall, but they're one of the toughest single walls from back in the day. Those ones you got there, the MX22, is about year 2000. The M22 was previous 2000. So I did a little homework on that for you. So those rims you got are decent rims.
Yeah,
and they're likely off of
just got from PM.
Right, and the reason they're a light single wall is probably because they were on a Mongoose and they were a racing wheel. Like, you know, lightness counts, right? So from what I read online, they're a really tough, good old wheel for that kind of thing. But if you're doing skate park stuff, you want to go to the double walls.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know, the bike I'm buying off you there, it's got 48s on it, but it looks like it's got the thinner axles. So is that 3/8, I guess it would be. So I can upgrade that to a 14 millimeter. I just got to drill out the slot a little bit.
Yeah, just be very careful about it on how you do it.
I mean, I'll go ahead and bend these ones first. I'll ride this and then I'll bend them out. Like, I could just widen this. In fact, wouldn't that even already take a 14 millimeter?
Yes.
Yeah, so they will take a 14. That's what I thought. So these axles are just the smaller axle, but the slot is big enough to handle the 14s. Yeah, because I had these exact wheels, but they were spoke the same, but mine were the thicker axles. So can you put different hubs in these same wheels? Can I put a 14 axle in these wheels?
As long as you get the right spoke.
Right, yeah, so it would just be a matter of the bearing being different, right? I mean, I'm not going to do it today, man. I'm going to ride this thing and break it first. But,
Exactly.
you know, I'm going to bend the cranks and then buy new cranks. I'm going to bend the wheels and then I'll buy new wheels.
Yeah.
But, like, I had this exact same spoke setup, how it's crossed over, laced on the back and then straight on the front. So I had the exact same setup, but mine were the thicker axles. So I'm wondering if they can just be swapped. I think they probably can. Because to me, these look like the same wheels. They're just different axles. And so this frame is literally identical to the Performer and Pro Performer from 98 to 2001. So the way it arcs up like this. And so they call it a Vertigo, but it's downhill slalom design. So they put the BMX racing style handlebars instead of the V Saber bars. They had the lighter wheels with the, I guess, thinner axle too, but they didn't have the Pac-Man. And that's about it. The only other thing mine had was a bigger dropout, but I think that's because it was a 2000 model, not because it was. Because I've seen a 2000 Performer, or sorry, a 98 Performer, and it has the same dropouts as this. So literally, it's like
they did go after 2000. They did start fattening out the back.
Yeah, that's what I had. I had the 2000 model, and it had a bit more metal here.
Yeah, that's what to save
the chain. Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah, and it worked too. Because like I was telling you, I was bashing the shit out of this, and I ground this pipe almost to pieces, but my chain never got hit once. So I'm gonna basically. Oh, the other thing I found out too, that burnt orange that I had, the powder coating is done over chrome. So I can literally get that same powder. I just got to powder coat it the right color, because it says right on there, I looked it up and found the company and everything, and they said it has to be done over chrome or it won't look right. And I'm like, perfect. And then I actually watched on YouTube a guy do a chrome bike in that orange, and I'm glad I watched the video, because he did one coat and it looked like shit. It looked like the wrong color, and it was like kind of this gross coppery color, and he's like, I don't like this. I'm gonna put another coat on and see what happens, because it's translucent. It's like a candy stuff. So he ended up putting 3 coats on it, cooking it 3 times, and then it looked exactly like my bike. I was like, that's how you do it. You just gotta keep loading it up and putting it back in the oven. It's because it's a translucent, so if it shows too much of the chrome through, it looks coppery. It doesn't look orange enough. So he just kept loading up the orange on it and rebaking it, and by the 3rd time, it was like, that's exactly how my bike looked. So You know, it's some powder coating shop,
Some
right?
acetone and take off all those stickers.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're good to go,
yeah,
man.
and you just give it a light little scuff with
Yep.
a Scotch Brite, and then go ahead and powder coat it.
Totally.
And I already have the powder coating gun. I told you I might start doing it. In fact, I think I am going to start doing bikes for people, because there's a lot of people out there that want these bikes redone.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been painting cars for 25, 30 years, so I don't think switching to powder coating will be much different. I already have the gun and
A
everything.
lot of people want to go back to the chrome, but it costs too much.
Right.
$1,700 just
Right.
for the frame.
Yeah, to get this chrome like
Just
this.
for the frame.
Yeah.
Right?
And I've never been a chrome guy, but
It's
now that I know that the color I want has to be done over chrome, I was like, perfect, because the bike is already chrome.
Yeah.
So I can't lose. So that's awesome. So I brought you some cash, man. Take her away today, and I'm gonna go hurt myself on it. And then as soon as I start breaking stuff on it, I'm gonna come. Can you get new GT stuff? Like, they make aftermarket stuff. Can you get me some 3-piece cranks when I bend these?
Probably.
Okay, because they got the Power Series still, right? They're still making those. Oh, I also, you were asking me about Craig Turner.
What you would do, what would be the best bet would be to go the spline drive. That way you actually get a better torque onto the...
Right, right. The GT ones are square, aren't they?
Yeah, but you can get GT with the torque.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't know
I would
that.
just have to find them. I know that I have a couple around here.
I wouldn't doubt that with this room full of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Probably takes you a year to find one thing that you know you have. It's like, I know I have one somewhere.
If it hasn't been sold.
Yeah. You got everything pretty well organized in this shop, though. I'm pretty amazed how well you have everything.
There's still
Organized.
boxes of parts that we still have to put
Miscellaneous, you call
Yeah.
those? Yeah. Like, what do you got in these cabinets and stuff? What's just more parts?
So hydraulic lines, hydraulic parts, like for any accessories.
Hydraulic brake systems.
Then you got your cable actuated cable actuated disc or your hydro parts.
Wow.
And then go down to the next level. We got some nice, beautiful Maguras, and then some all together brakes.
Wow.
And then we go down to the last level. And this is where we got all our BMX stuff.
Right.
So extra cassettes,
Yeah.
your single speeds for some bikes.
Hey, that's a question
Hubs.
for you. These cassettes, right? They roll one way and then they
Yes.
lock the other way. But I see the newer BMX bikes, they can freewheel backwards.
Yes,
Without
that's
spinning
because,
backwards. What's the deal with that?
They've got two single bearings sets going on inside.
Okay.
So when you go backwards, like we used
When
to,
you're rolling backwards, the pedals would go with you, and that
Exactly.
makes it difficult for some tricks,
now
like a
they've
reverse
actually
manual.
got another set of bearings in there that actually allows that to freely.
Gotcha. So that's
once-
how those guys are doing those reverse manuals.
That is sick looking.
Yeah,
man.
that's pretty awesome. I was watching the X Games last night, and I was like, man, that is badass. So can I put one of those newer style on that GT?
Yes.
Awesome. Good to know. What do they cost for a brand new one? And I guess that one's going to have more teeth on it because it's got the
you
older.
can get them 16 to 22.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can get your.
So some of these guys are running 9s on the back though
Yes.
with their little gears, right? So
Yeah,
they make a
that's
whole range.
the new one.
Right.
That is actually part of the actual hub
Oh, so that's a different style again.
altogether.
Can you show me one of those? Have you got one? Let's show the people on YouTube the difference.
A 9
Because
speed.
most of the people that I deal with are going to be dealing with this kind where, I'll just show the people on the camera because they probably already know, but when you pedal the bike and then when your wheel's going backwards, it forces the pedals backwards like that.
Go grab that bike.
But they have ones now.
That bike outside. I'll be back.
He's going to bring one in for us and show us. But they have new cassettes. They call this piece the cassette. It locks one way and free spins the other way, right? But they have new ones now that will, when your wheel is rolling backwards like this, it doesn't push the pedals backwards. So you can literally stay on the pedals doing a reverse manual. See, when I go this way, the pedals don't turn. But when I go backwards, it forces the pedals. So the new design have a cassette where you can freewheel in. I might upgrade on this GT maybe. You know, I'll go out and ride it as is first, but that's something that I would really like to do to that bike, to this bike, because it looks so cool. Some of the tricks they're doing are pretty wild, but you couldn't do it without that because the pedals are going to keep turning backwards on you. So basically when you're rolling backwards on a bike like this, you almost kind of have to sit down on the seat and let the pedals go backwards, or you have to be standing on the frame or something away from the pedals. Because if you're standing on the pedals and you start rolling backwards, it's really hard to you know, you got to keep trying to turn your feet while you're rolling backwards, which
ain't that quick anymore.
No, and doing a manual in reverse, that would make it impossible. I don't think you could even do it on this bike. Even the pros, if they jumped on this bike, they're not going to be able to do a reverse manual like that.
Not the way they do it nowadays.
No, not like they do it nowadays. It's pretty wild. So I was watching the X Games last night, and boy, BMXing has come a long way, right? Like they're doing all this stuff now. Or
No brakes?
No brakes, and they just keep it spinning like
a Dave Mirror.
It reminds me a lot of figure skating. They're doing a lot of this spinning stuff, and they're putting it behind their back and stuff, and it's like, man, like back when I was a kid, man, if somebody just stopped and did a decade, one trick, that's how it was. One trick, right? One trick pony, right? And then you would
come
like
off the tabletop, do it,
right, and the real pros were able to string 2 or 3 of those tricks together, and people would be like, ooh, ah. And now you watch the X Games, and it's like if you put some of the pros that I used to look up to, like Eddie Fiola and stuff, they're still good riders. In fact, Eddie still rides. He's 58, but even when he was a kid, he was amazing, and they called him the king of the skate parks. Amazing airs they were doing. But if you were to compare their flatland tricks now to today's X Game, it's night and day. It's like they've taken BMX to a whole different level, man.
They've
It's
taken
unbelievable.
freestyling, and they've taken the BMX, you know, park experiment, and they slashed those together so tightly.
And even
it's just like, wow.
Even the tricks at the parks have changed, because when I was young, it was all about, you know, if you could do a 540, you were a king. But now I'm watching the X Games, and it's not good enough. A 540 wouldn't even get you points.
No, God no.
These guys are doing inverted, flared 900s with no hands.
Dude's doing a Superman, and he's doing a corkscrew while his bike does a.
I saw that. I watched last night. I binge watched the 2022, 2023, and 2024 X Games best trick, and they do it in the park setting. And then I also watched the 2023 full show, and I was like, man, this is crazy. These guys have taken BMX to such a level that I'll never be able to do those tricks. Never. But some of the old school tricks I could do back in the day, I'm sure I could pull them off again. But some of the stuff they're doing now is just wild. So, and this bike's not really built for that. So I'm gonna ride it as is, and then I'm gonna break stuff on it, and then eventually I'm gonna upgrade it so I can do those reverse manuals, and maybe I'll swap out the handlebars. If I bend the axles, then I'll replace them. Probably if I put pegs on it and start slamming it, I'm gonna bend them. But that's a given. Yeah, it's a given. Yeah, especially at my age and my weight. I'm probably.
Well, you got lots of room.
I'm still in good shape, but I'm definitely heavier than I was when I was 14 years old, right? Or 15 years old. So yeah, so we're gonna take this thing out for a rip. Also, I did a little more homework on Gary Turner, GT. Craig, remember I said Craig is building bikes? He is building them, and he has the full GT license, but it's limited. So he didn't say what year.
He's only going to do like 50 or something.
They did 50 of that series bike, but he's building all the old style GTs again, and he's even building custom ones. Custom GTs, not just a custom, but it's a literally GT bike, your specs. Yeah. I got a couple pictures here, man.
God, yeah.
He's got the ones they're selling on the website. It's called GT 1972. You were asking about the cruisers and stuff. Yeah. He's got them.
Oh my
the BMXs are even longer.
Yeah.
The ones he's making now are 21.5.
Yeah, that's what the
top bars are. Yeah. And all the same, like all the new stuff.
Oh,
like the
nice.
the pressed seal bottom brackets. No more pressed in pieces here. They're part of the frame like the new BMX, but they're styled like the 80s and 90s. And he says right on his website, don't see the frame you want? Give me a call. He'll build you A custom, so you could take your favorite 3 GTs and say, I want this, this, and this, and he'll build it for you. Now, he's got a line out called Legend, and they're reasonably priced. There's no paint, no nothing on them. Just bare steel, bare chromoly. He builds it, you finish it. That's how it's going so far. But they're also talking about doing some finished bikes now, too. Nice. But I got to show you this Legend, man. This thing is crazy. This is like if I were to build a GT, first I'll show you, that was my bike. That was my 2000.
Oh yeah.
That's not mine, but that's somebody that had the identical bike. That is literally
I see what you mean.
See, it's the same frame.
Yeah.
It's the same frame as this bike right here, but it's got the wedged handlebars, right? And there's some aftermarket ones that don't have the extra gussets and don't stamp GT, but they look the same-ish. And you can see I got the same wheels, but they were the 14 mil axles, and you can see the nice clear logo on those tires, GT airbags.
Oh yeah, man.
But look at the frame. It's the exact frame, isn't it?
Totally.
So they just put different stickers on it and then put all different hardware on it, called it a Vertigo. But that's literally what I'm going to build right there. So that nice burnt kind of metallic-y translucent orange.
That looks fucking sweet.
It does look sweet, doesn't it?
Yeah,
and it goes over chrome. So it's going to go right, that color is going to turn out perfect over this bike when I do it.
Oh yeah.
That's one of Craig's new bikes. That is a brand spanking new GT. Now these ones, he's got both kinds. You can get the old school kind, or he's got the sealed bearing bottom brackets and everything. So, and you can just ask him to build something. Now this one's going, I think this one was $700-800.
Really?
Yeah, brand spanking new. You can see the welds on it.
Totally.
Like he doesn't do anything to it. He just
hasn't been cleaned up very much at all.
No, he just welds it, and you know it's going to be perfect, but it's not finished, right? So you get to finish it or powder coat it or paint it, whatever color you want, right? So that's what he's doing now. He has a cruiser version of this. With this one's 21.5 top bar, and he's got a cruiser version which has a slightly different setup up here, but other than that it's the same bike. So he's got a bunch of them already. Those are the handlebars that were on my GT. That's what I'm looking for.
We actually had those on a Mongoose that we just
right, but these ones are a little different.
They got a lower bar on them.
See, they got the extra gussets.
No, those are totally the ones.
It says GT stamped here.
Yeah, no, actually the ones that we had, they didn't have the GT stamp in them, but they had a Mongoose stamp in them.
Right, right.
Like,
now these ones also on the bottom of these two posts have GT stamped in the bottom. Now the aftermarket ones they're making are stamped on the bottom, but they don't have these pieces. And they obviously don't have the GT at the side, so they're just basically that bar without the extra welded piece there. So these are just a little stronger.
Oh, absolutely.
And of course they're vintage real GTs.
Yep.
So if you come across some of these, give me a call, because that's what I want to put on that bike. Those are nice too though. These have the gussets like that, but they're the rounded at the bottom.
Exactly.
And they're still pretty small, so they're not going to hit my knees. No. But they're just not quite the same as this wedge bar. And there's something about the way this wedge bar looks.
They are actually wider bars.
Yeah, they are. They're wider at the top. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I always realized that. I was like, this bike feels so wide at the top, but it just looks cool the way it narrows down like that.
And just the narrowness of that opening is
it's really perfect. Nice. I think that's their best handlebars they ever made right there. And you're right, they are long. But that's so you can get a grip on there, plus the brake handle.
And that's where when you're doing your tricks, you've actually got space to grab onto.
There's the bike from the front.
Yeah.
The other thing different, very slight difference, was it had a real badge on the front, like a embossed badge that was glued on or something. And this one's just got the sticker. Yep. So I'm gonna find one of those and glue it on here once I'm done the finish. But that's what it's gonna look like when she's done, man. That's gonna be it.
Nice.
So I just got to basically swap out forks. This one had different forks. Mine had the Pac-Mans. So this one was maybe a year older than mine.
Those are the side mounts?
Yeah, those ones go into the forks like the Mongoose ones. But mine had the pegs right on the axles, but it had the Pac-Mans.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And then the Pac-Mans I bent them right away, and then I got the thicker dyno ones, but they were identical. Yeah. And the seat was pretty cool on this bike too. I remember it being a really different seat compared to a GT. I don't think this is the original seat. This seems more like a newer style BMX with a little bit of padding, which might be good for me. Landing on my ass. And there's the bike from the side. So yeah, that was what I had. The only thing, it was that sprocket has like embossed stuff in it, and it's so dirty you can't see. But when it's clean, it's got like the GT wings hidden in it.
Oh, nice.
It's all embossed.
Yeah,
it's really nice. So this is the bike I got in 2000, and I sold it at a pawn shop. I got a loan on it, and then I couldn't pay it, and I lost it. And so, that's really close to my Pro Freestyle Tour that I had.
Holy pink.
Yeah, that's the Dayglow pink with white. It was, dude, when I'd ride that down the road, people were like, what the hell?
Yeah, right.
But I had the different sticker package because for half a year, beginning in 1989, they switched to the caution. They call it crash test dummy stickers.
Oh yes.
They had the yellow and black stripes behind the logos and stuff, and it looked way better. Like the stickers on this don't look good.
No.
They look okay, but they look kind of like
girlyish.
Yeah, that's
Total
girlyish. Yes.
man.
Whereas the stickers I had were black and yellow, and really set it off, man.
Totally.
And then of course the white stuff was cool back
All that's
then.
missing there is daisies.
Yeah, and the only thing different about this one is it was the team model, so it had 3-piece cranks.
Yeah.
Mine had the single-piece cranks because it was the Pro Freestyle Tour, but this one's a Pro Freestyle Tour team model. Comes with those 3-piece cranks. But you know, when I was a teenager, I never bent the 3-piece cranks because I wasn't that heavy, right? I never ever messed up. That one's
They're easy to bend now.
This one's not quite as close as the one I had because this one's got the tough wheels.
Yeah.
I had spoked, but that frame was my favorite. See how it goes all the way back behind
that's
the seat before it drops?
huge step, man.
Yeah, it's a huge step. This one drops before the post.
Like, you got a toe width.
And when I do frame stands on this one, my feet are tilted upward because this slants so far downward. So I may even modify this frame. I don't know.
Well, you could just
put a bar
loop
across.
around.
Yeah, or just put one bar.
Yeah, just
put one
do a
bar
loop
across
around.
here.
Yeah.
Just a tall bar. But you see how this one not only went far back behind the seat before it dropped, but it had this what they call the coin roll. So it has a bar across underneath it.
Oh, that's right.
And then it had the GT stamps in the ends of those. So it just looked really cool because it said GT on both sides. And then it had the coin roll
right
across here. Yeah, right there. So basically this piece would stay straight to back here. And then right here it had this.
Start raking back.
It had this nice round piece that went all the way across.
Yeah.
They call it the coin roll. So that's my favorite frame, Pro Freestyle Tour. This is how they did it between late 87 and late 89. So it was only like that for 2 years. And that's pretty much the exact bike I had except for the cranks. That's the one that got stolen.
Step is huge, man. And just the step down on that back end.
Yeah.
As far as back here.
And see the way the S is in this thing? Look how much distance there is between
I know,
the front
that's
wheel.
beautiful.
Because you could flip this thing around, nothing ever touched on this. This one's a little bit closer because it doesn't have, it's got the straight bar.
It's a slow
but it's got, and it's got the curve at the top bar instead, which is a little different. But that's basically what's going on. And Craig Turner, which is Gary's son.
Yeah.
He's building the bikes under GT license right now.
Are they coming out of California still?
Yeah, he's in California. He's got a website for these. This is GT. They're calling it GT Nation, so it's not directly GT, but it's GT Nation, and the series that he's got going is called Legend.
All right.
So the GT Legends. These are all brand spanking new GTs under GT license, stamped GT, serial number as a GT. So these are real deal. And this is still going on.
I hope I hope it survives.
Well, his website, he's even doing customs now. Like
Yeah,
if
no,
you wanted
that's
to,
awesome, man.
I was thinking I like this.
Yeah.
This is awesome. The only thing I would do is take this back a little further,
like the step back.
like that Pro Performer or Pro Freestyle. So I just go a little further back with it and maybe add the coin roll. See, this one doesn't have the coin roll because this was a 87 or a 90. Only late 87 to late 89 they did the coin roll. So this one, that's why I took this one too, because even though everything else is different on it, it had the coin roll. So I was like, I got to get a picture of that. So that little coin roll at the back of the frame, I would do that to this bike.
Oh yeah.
Take this back a little further, put the coin roll back there, and that is literally the perfect frame. Like that is just awesomeness.
Yes.
I wouldn't know. I would probably do it in the day glow pink too, just to bring back memories, right? The day glow pink though isn't done over chrome or bare metal. It's done over white.
Yeah,
so
pearl.
you have to do a white base coat first, and then otherwise it doesn't have that depth.
Yeah, exactly.
And that pop.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, you have to put the pearl underneath of that.
Yeah, I thought about doing this bike that color, but this was cool in the 90s. Now it's kind of not as cool, right? But also, I would have to powder coat it twice because it has to be white first. Then this one's ready to go with the orange. So
Totally.
I think I'm going to go with the orange, the burnt orange, just like that.
Yeah. No, that would look really nice.
That was my all-time favorite finish on a GT, especially when you get out in the sun.
Yeah.
And like that doesn't even do it justice, man, because it's got like almost a metallic-y look to it, but when you tilt your head you can see the chrome coming through it, and just amazing finish. I think that was the best finish they ever did. And I also really like the Dayglow pink. I like all the Dayglow colors because they pop so much. They got the Dayglow yellow, Dayglow green, Dayglow orange, and the Dayglow pink.
I had the Dayglow green there for a while.
Oh yeah, you had one of those in the shop here?
No, when I was younger.
Oh, you had one yourself and you were riding it.
Yeah.
So you're an old BMXer too, eh?
Yeah, well, it was number 2 in BC.
Really?
Yeah.
I used to ride for a team too, but we were just oh, this is your bike then. This is perfect for you. But I used to ride for a little shop called Lambeth Sports. They didn't pay us anything. They just give us a few parts once in a while when we break something.
I never got paid anything.
Yeah, I didn't get paid nothing.
I just got parts. You know, here's some frame, here's
and
this,
we still
here's
had to
that.
bend their arms on it. It was like, come on, man, we're putting your names on our ramps, man. We just need a couple pegs.
Yeah.
You know, but it was fun.
YMCA and Vic West, and then after the first year, it was just like, you want to be in a team?
Oh wow! And that was for downhill slalom.
Yeah.
Wow. I did flatland and ramp. That was my thing. Did you ever do flatland and ramp, or Do you still ride?
Oh yeah. Not BMX.
Not BMX. You're a mountain bike guy now. See, I went the other way. I bought that mountain bike. I traded in with you there, and I was like, nope, this ain't for me.
No,
I gotta go back
to BMX anymore.
No.
No.
Hurt yourself too much, or is it just put your back out?
Oh, yeah, just pedal too fast. I can't keep up that pedal.
There is a lot of pedaling in this sport for sure. Yeah, especially if you're at a park or something, you got to get the speed up to just make it up the ramp.
Gears and I'll do exactly the same thing.
Well, that's why I bought a mountain bike. I was thinking that. I was like, oh, this will have gears. I don't have to work as hard. I can take it to the store when I need to. But I just didn't like it, man. It just wasn't for me. So this is totally my style. I'm gonna really have fun with this. But I am gonna break some stuff on it, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure I'm going to bend, once I put axle pegs on this and start doing some slams on some concrete and rails, I'm going to bend these axles pretty soon. Yeah. So I'll be back for that.
You got tons of axles.
I like that you put these tires on it, I guess, because your buddy gave me the other tires with it, the worn out ones. The original GT airbags. These are cool tires. What are these?
Axle?
Oh, whatever. They're good tires. They'll work. They got tread.
K-Pax.
How much pressure can these ones take?
65 PSI.
65s. All right. I think the airbags can take 100, but it depends on the tube too, doesn't it? Like you can't use a tube and crank it up to 100, or it's gonna explode.
You got to make sure you got a thick enough wall on your tube.
I got to go home and figure out this because
usually it's the last 4 that's got the year in it.
Well, this one says 2151, so that doesn't make sense because there's no month 51. No. But I did look, and the GT ones usually have the year and month. Year first, then month. But it's usually in the front of the serial number, and this one doesn't have that, so this is different. So I'll have to look this up. But this is definitely a real GT frame, 100%. But I don't understand the serial numbering because all the stuff before 90s had a very short serial number. It was like 5 digits.
Yeah, 5 or 6 digits.
And 4 of them were date.
Yep.
2 were year and 2 were month. And then the letter before it would tell you which factory it was made at, like H or G or whatever. Yep. So this one has an S, so I'm assuming that's the plant.
San Francisco.
Maybe. And then it's got 9, but then a GY after. So I don't know. I don't know where that's going. I'll have to consult the experts.
Yep.
But it's got to be 98 to 2001 because they only made the arch top bar from 98 to 2001.
Yeah, because the one we saw was 98. That was identical.
Yes, and I had the 2000, which was identical to this, except the taller
bigger
drop
gusset,
out
yeah.
to protect the gear. Other than that, the frame was identical. And I had different forks, but that's not really part of the frame. So the frame itself is literally identical for this bike and the Performer and the Pro Performer from 98 to 2001.
So all they did is really change that up.
Yeah,
eventually.
they just made that
made
taller.
that way
Yeah.
thicker so that you couldn't bash it.
I don't even think it was thicker. I think it was the same thickness. It just was taller.
Yeah, I think so.
They made a triangle shape just to protect the gear a little bit. And also, if you had the big pegs, it just gave it a little more space there.
Yep.
But like, I mean, you could fit a huge peg on this
You
anyway,
got that
right?
right.
So it's not like it would make that much of a difference. I think you're right. It was more about protecting the gear
Yep.
and the chain from getting smacked.
Yeah,
'Cause
that was so a major problem.
Well, I was grinding this side so much that I actually ground through this pipe right here and flattened it,
Well,
totally
that's why we always
pancaked
tell
it.
people it's suggestible always to do it on the non-drive side, because that way you're not wrecking your drive side.
Right, but at the skate park I was going to, the wall,
It was only on the
there's
one
only one way you can do it. So it's like, because it's grass up on the other side of it, so there's no, you can't get on the other side of it, and then it's so steep and it goes down twice, so it's so steep and long, there's no way you could go up it. Like, you wouldn't be able to grind up it, you wouldn't be able to get the speed, so there's only one way you could grind that wall.
Yep.
And it was the only wall I was capable of getting on at, you know, that was 24 years ago, but I was still older than I was when I was a kid, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, I wasn't able to get on the tall walls, so the only one I could do was that, and I just kept doing it over and over and over, and then I realized, holy shit, I'm destroying my frame. But, you know, that's what these things are for, right?
Absolutely.
Beat the shit out of them and fix them and do it again.
Yep.
It's easier to fix the bike than fix yourself, right? So I always think
It takes less time.
if you hurt your bike and you didn't hurt yourself, you just had a good day.
That's right.
Because you had some fun. You might have to spend a little money now, but
well.
oh well. Yeah. All right, man. Well, I think I've showed everything in your shop. I'm going to put your email and stuff.
Okay.
Is that on your card?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And you got a website, I'm assuming?
Yep.
That's
Free
on it.
bicycle.
All right. So I'll put that on the video. Maybe you'll get some crazy people calling you for some of this crazy stuff you got. Like some of this, I showed them the hydraulic bike. That's, you said, from the 60s?
74 is what we found in Popular Mechanics.
Oh, 1974. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's real hydraulics, and one handle pulls the front
handle,
and rear
yeah.
brake. That's just so bizarre. Crazy. But yeah, so everything you guys see in this video today, everything is for sale except for this bike, right?
Yeah, except for the training bike.
Except for this bike, they call it the training bike. I call it the crazy cat lady's front yard. Look at this thing, it's just bonkers. So this is the only bike that's not for sale, guys. But everything else, including this Schwinn Cruiser motorcycle combo thingamabob. Giant. Sorry, I thought it was a Schwinn.
Yeah, Giant.
Giant. Made by Giant.
Schwinn is where you would get parts for it, and it comes out of the UK.
Gotcha.
You can get motors for it, suitcase motor for that thing, that it'll cost you $1,100, and the thing will do 65 kilometers an hour.
65 kilometers an hour?
Yeah.
How is that legal?
It's not legal.
It's not.
Not in Canada.
But you can still buy it,
You
folks.
can still buy it.
You can still buy it and ride it.
Yep.
We're not going to tell anyone.
No.
All right, so I'm going to give this man some cash and take this bike home, guys. And then I'm going to hurt myself, break some parts, and then I'm going to slowly start to modify this bike and make it closer to a Pro Performer. Literally the same frame, just need to swap out handlebars. And I probably won't do that right away because these are good handlebars. And they're
now.
nice, I like them. So I don't have any reason to swap these handlebars unless I suddenly come across some of the original knee saver bars. But these are the real GTs with the gussets. So I'm going to swap out the forks and put Pac-Mans on it. Probably have to do an axle upgrade once I bend these. And these are original one-piece GT cranks, which I have never once in my life ever bent one of these, but we'll see, because I'm a little heavier now than I used to be, and I'm definitely going to crash more. Usually that's how you bend a crank, is when your bike goes bouncing across the skate
that,
park.
And when you come down too hard on the pedal, you can actually tweak.
Yeah, but I've done that to cheap bikes. I've never once done that to a GT.
I've never actually bent a pair of one-piece cranks.
I've never either. I have on cheap bikes. I bent my Velo Sport, and I bent one other Raleigh or something.
My Apollo Kuahara, those cranks ended up bending on me, but it was because of the way I was riding at the same time.
Yeah.
It was too close to the curb, and I had a person on the back of the bicycle.
So a little extra weight.
Extra weight.
Yeah.
And then when we hit the curb, the pedal ended up tweaking.
Oh.
So yeah, it took out both of us, and took out the bike.
I had a friend that bent a GT single piece, and it was because we were doing a jerk jump, and the jump was probably like this high, like 7 feet high, but he came down the hill and he was going way too fast, so he just kind of hopped off it and let the bike just went airborne by itself, and it went like 50, 60 feet in the air and started turning upside down, and it came down and bounced on the front wheel, and then did a bunch of flips and bounced all over the place. So he bent his forks and one of his cranks, one side of his cranks. But you know what? We just took it over to rock, and we all just took turns kicking the out of it, and it bent it back, and it was fine. He never bent it again after. Like, you would think it would be weaker, right? But it was fine. So,
it's only when you heat them up is when you have issues.
Yeah, well, these forks, if you bend them once, it's game over. Once you bend them and bend them back, they bend super easy after, like Play-Doh after that. All right, guys, well, I'm going to end the video here. So you've seen the shop. Again, I'm going to put the link and email and stuff for you guys down below, and you guys can buy anything in the shop or outside the shop. He's got bikes outdoors, and everything dates back to the 40s all the way to present. It's got brand new, used, vintage tires, vintage wheels, rims, everything you could ever dream up. This place is like
a candy store.
It's like a candy store, but it's better, guys, because all those other shops and stuff on YouTube say you can't buy anything. This is all for sale. Everything in here. So, and he's got a couple other cool BMX bikes over there if you're into that. But the GT, guys, is mine. All right, so I hope you enjoyed today's video and visiting the Rebuy bicycle shop with me here on Jacklin Road in Langford, British Columbia. I'll put the address, email, website, all that down in the description below, and you can buy any of the stuff he has. Everything's for sale except for that green bike I showed you, the crazy cat lady's front yard looking bike. That's a training bike they use. So that's the only single bike that isn't for sale. Everything else in this shop is for sale. So you can go ahead and hit Rob or George or Rob. They're the owners, and you can hit them up at the email address and stuff I put down in the link below. It's called the Rebuy Bicycle Shop, and they're really nice guys. They really know what they're doing. They have super fair prices. They have crazy stuff in there. That bike that I just bought off him is worth a lot more than he charged me, so I'm really happy that he was saw the passion that I wanted to ride again, and he knows I can afford an 80s or 90s GT, but he had one and nobody else was really looking at it, so he sold it to me for a really good price, plus my trade-in. You guys saw the trade-in I got over there that I gave him, my mountain bike that I was definitely never going to ride again, even though I only put 4 hours on it from brand new. So I traded that bike in. He gave me a really good cash deal on the bike. I'm super happy. I couldn't be more happy. They're really nice guys. They know what they're doing, and they build custom bikes. They restore bikes. They refurbish bikes. They tune up bikes, and they sell brand new and used bikes. So hit them up at Rebuy. That's RE-BUY, Rebuy Bicycle Shop. And again, all the info will be down below. And thanks for watching.